Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. It's the Numerovational session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. And get my books on Amazon now. Greetings, one and all family. How you doing today? Greetings to everybody. How you feeling? What's up? Yeah, it's the Drive Time Show. It's the Drive Time Show with King Simon in the building, the Numerovational universe. What a beautiful day it is in the neighborhood. Today is October 30th. Want to say happy birthday to Nia Long. Happy birthday to that beautiful sister, that beautiful, sexy sister named Nia Long. Happy birthday to my former wife, Valda Muhammad. Big up to her. Happy birthday to her. And happy birthday to Ananatawa, Abundance Child's daughter. And happy birthday to my brother, Ra Aku. Today is Ra Aku's birthday, too. Big up to Ra Aku. I'm going to text him right now and wish him a happy birthday. I forgot to text him today, but it's all good. Ra-Aku know my heart, you know. So I'm gonna wish him a happy birthday. Happy birthday to Ra-Aku. Today is Ra-Aku's birthday also. So big up to everybody celebrating their birthday right before the Hallows Eve, Halloween. If that's what you celebrate, that's what you celebrate. If you acknowledge and understand it from another perspective, beautiful. You know, understand it from another perspective, beautiful. All right. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video as you see it scrolling on the bottom. Yeah. Let me change that color. I didn't want that color. That color wasn't supposed to come up. That color was not supposed to come up at all. Where's the color now? Boom. We deal with the color here. Let's deal with the color. Today is Wednesday. So Wednesday is more grayish. See if I get them that gray in there. Yeah, Wednesday more gray, a gray number, gray energy. Has different pascals, different colors that's connected to gray, or connected to the number 5, or a Wednesday, so to speak. Hump day. So those that are humping today, beautiful. Keep on doing your humping. Hump day today is hump day. Yeah, good. What's up, family? How y'all feeling today? Of course, I am still I'm not in Georgia yet. I'm not back home yet. So bear with me, family. Bear with me. And let me see. Bear with me. Just bear with me right now. And as I'm working on doing some mathematics with what I'm doing and how I'm doing it here. So I think that's going to be very important. Today's topic, if you're just tuning in or logging in, today's topic, and make sure today's topic, let's log it in. Familiarity and unfamiliarity breeds contempt. A spiritual meaning behind that. And it's powerful that I even thought about it because of things that's been happening, not only in the world, but also amongst my own family. Familiarity and unfamiliarity breeds contempt. And it does have a spiritual component. And I don't know if I'm going to break down the numerical component to all of it because I don't have my board. I can write it down on paper, but I'd rather break down the word contempt. Contempt. I'd rather break down the numerology for the word contempt. And I'm writing it down right now. Forgive me. I am writing right now because, like I said, I do not have my board, and it's good to write. It's good to write anyway. So I realized that we use this quote. It's an old quote, and we use it a lot. And we need to understand it from a metaphysical, spiritual perspective. Why you might have certain family members that are familiar with you, or you might have certain family members that are not familiar with you, and it can still breed some type of contempt. First and foremost, let's go to the dictionary meaning of what contempt means. Those who don't know what contempt means, most of us know what the word familiarity means, since the root word of familiarity is being familiar with something or someone or someplace. Unfamiliarity or unfamiliar means that you don't quite know this place or know this thing or whatever. But the word contempt, I believe, is very important to break that down and to speak on that. If you don't mind, I'm going to do that real quick. So as we go to the dictionary says the feeling that a person or a thing is beneath consideration, worthless, deserving scorn. Powerful. The next meaning is disregard for something that should be taken into account. And the third meaning is the offense of being disobedient to or disrespectful of a court of law and its officers. So let's take the two meanings, the two nouns, because it is a noun. Contempt is a noun, and the first two meaning, I'm going to copy and paste and put it in here. I want to copy and paste that because this is going to be a very important subject because a lot of people have family members or friends or business partners that has a certain amount of contempt around them because maybe you're successful more than them, yaga, yaga, ya, yo, 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 whatever it may be. So the first meaning is, boom, the feeling that a person or a thing is beneath consideration, worthless, or deserving scorn. This can happen amongst family members. This can happen amongst friends. This can, so-called friends, so-called family members. This can happen at your job, your business. Contempt. Let's go to the second meaning. The second meaning is disregard for something that should be taken into account. I'm only using these two meanings. The other one deals with the court, the officers, law, court of law, and all that kind of stuff. But I'm only taking these two meanings for a particular reason. Then I'm going to go into the spiritual nuances of both of them. And again, we're going to break down the numerovation of the word contempt, not familiarity or unfamiliarity breeds. We're not going to break down those words. We're going to break down the word contempt, and why it's very important that we be very careful when we are in contempt of someone. The second meaning of the word contempt is disregard for something that should be taken into account. So when I say familiarity and unfamiliarity breeds contempt, when something or someone is not familiar with you, they might have a form of distrust, so to speak. When they are familiar with you and you've proven yourself to be either distrustful or you've proven to be so much of a nice person that they absolutely feel or consider you worthless because you've given them so much. So they can be so familiar with you that you've given them so much of yourself that they take advantage of you. And a lot of us have suffered that in our own family, at the job, what have you. We've been through it. So where the feeling that a person or a thing is beneath consideration or worthless and deserving or scorn. Those are very powerful meanings. Very powerful meanings. Now the word familiarity, let's go to those words right there. Let's go to those words. Let's find a dictionary meaning for those words. If you don't mind, I would just like to read them out. I want to read them out so we can at least have some type of meaning, and what it means, So the word familiarity and its meaning. Boom, here it is. Familiarity, close acquaintance with or knowledge of something. Close acquaintance with or knowledge of something. The quality of being well known, recognizable, based on long or close association. Relaxed friendliness or intimacy between people. Inappropriate and often offensive informality of behavior or language. So they got a good 4 meanings for familiarity. Let me copy and paste. Let me snatch that up and put it somewhere. Let me snatch that up and put it somewhere so I can look back at it without going to the actual meaning. So how many of you out there feel that you find that some people in your family or at your job might have some type of contempt because they know you, or maybe because they don't know you that well? How many people? Put the number 1 in the chat, because the topic today is familiarity and unfamiliarity breeds contempt. Familiarity and unfamiliarity breeds contempt. And the word unfamiliarity, meaning the quality of not being known or recognized. Unfamiliarity with the lack of knowledge or experience of something. So when person have a lack of knowledge and experience, or any experience with anybody or anything or any place, that can also breed contempt also. There's positive and negative to everything, and we got to be very mindful of how we deal with certain situations, especially when we're dealing with people and friends and family that might disrespect us because they're not familiar. Maybe they're just new to the family, or they just came out of prison after all these years, or you was just, you grew up with this side of the family and you never grew up on that side. And that usually happens mostly with fathers, where the mothers might have their children and hold the children and deal with the children. The father didn't get to deal with them. So the child may be unfamiliar. They can only go by what they see or what they was told or what have you. And in certain instances, that's not fair to the person that is trying to at least mend and connect with that child or connect with that family member or connect with that friend. The word contempt in the Pythagorean system, and I'm here doing the adding right now, that's 9 plus 7 plus 9 plus 9 equals 34. 34 is a number 7. 34 has the same meaning as the number 25, and 25 is also a number of endurance and having strength. So it's important that when you realize and it's also a number of the need to analyze, because it adds up to that number 7. It needs to be researched. So when somebody has contempt against you in any way, because the word contempt means the feeling that a person or a thing is beneath consideration and worthiness and deserving scorn, that means that person have not really researched that person, have not really dig deep to find out who they is, so they will not have contempt. Or because familiarity breeds contempt on one statement, maybe they have watched you and they feel a little jealous of who you are and what you are, but they don't feel you deserve what you're getting. That's how deep it can get. People will disregard for something that should be taken into account. They may disregard your talent. How many people out there has gone through that, where people disregard your talent, disregard what you say, disregard who you are and what you bring to the table? So people disregard sometimes and don't take to account. Many people have gone through this. So we got to be very mindful. And because people that can feel a form of contempt against you under any circumstances, we got to be reminded that people that might have contempt against us might just be hiding it and pretending to be your friend. Ooh, that part. People could be hiding it and pretending to be your friend or your family members, or that they love you or they care about you. And because in the Chaldean system, the word contempt adds up to a number 40 in the Chaldean system. So you got 34, which is a 7, and you got 40, which is a 4. And both of them, in my book, Numerovation for Mental Stability, both of those numbers are mental health numbers. Go figure that one out. Both of them are mental health numbers. So the word contempt adds up to the mental number frequency of the 4 and the 7 in the two systems that I use in my book, Numerovation for Mental Stability. Those who know my book, those who have seen my book, I will show that book just in case you haven't gotten it yet. I understand if you haven't gotten it, no problema. You can go and get it on Amazon, and you can go get it through my Linktree /KingSimonthenumerovator. It's called Numerovation for Mental Stability, where I give the balanced outlook of the numbers and show you how to live on the highest frequency of all the numbers. It's very important that we learn to do that. Many of us don't know that our numbers can be a helpful guide to alert us on what we need to do and how we need to do things in this lifetime. Not controlling you, but just showing you the way. So if you get a chance to get any of my books, you get all my books, and big up to everybody that came out to my children's book signing. I thank everybody that came out to the children's book signing. It was a great success. All my books were sold. all the children books were sold, and all the other books that I brought. I only brought Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated, Numbers Are Simple, Children's Health is Important, and No Promotion is Bad Promotion. I want to thank everybody that was able to come on out to do that. So make sure you take a snapshot of this. Go to the Amazon, put in King Simon, or if you want to go directly to the link, go to Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. You will learn slowly but surely how to use numbers and allow them to guide you. That word allow is very important. Big up to Dr. B. Sirius. That word allow is very important. You have to allow it to take place. You have to allow yourself to heal. And when you're having problems with your children or family members that might have some contempt because you wasn't there, I'm going through that too. I'm going through that with one of my daughters, and I might be going through it with all the children, because I know in my life I was chasing entertainment. I know what it is. I know what it is. So, but because I learned to forgive myself and forgive my family for the hurts that I've taken on from, whether it's my parents or my uncles, my aunts, whoever I've taken on, I've learned to get over it. Where one of my children might not have gotten over it and are not ready to, and I'm cool with that. If they're not ready, beautiful thing. Because everybody has to go through the experiences, just like I went through my experience with my mother and father. They have to go through the experience with what I went through, or be willing to at least research and know. And sometimes, this generation now, to a certain extent, just like my generation, has a certain form of what I might say is narcissism, because they're thinking only about themselves. They're not a full-blown narcissist, but because they're only thinking about their self and their feelings because it affected them, they think it's only about them, when they don't know it's a generational thing. So when you have people that are contemptuous against you in any way, or their familiarity with what they've heard about you breeds contempt, or their unfamiliarity breeds contempt, then you have to either be still and pray and meditate that they will come one day and be a part of learning more about you, so they don't keep on passing this on to generation. You can always argue and talk about it from the background and from the sideline while you've been talking to your mother, your father about that person, or talking to your relative or some other relative, or talking about your friends about that person. But if you don't ever talk to that person, what got me over the hump of being contemptuous to my own mother and my own father is that I was willing to talk to them and research and ask family members around me about my mother and father. And that's why I can talk and converse with my father today, and I can talk and converse with my mother today. Is it one of those, hey, no, it's not like that, but it's a respectful, because at the end of the day, your Bible or your scripture says, love and honor thy mother and thy father, that days may be long. It doesn't say you have to believe in what they believe. It don't say you have to follow them. It doesn't say none of that. It doesn't say none of that. It just means love and honor thy mother and thy father, that thy days may be long upon the earth. And when you lack that love and honor, then boom, maybe you get taken out early. One thing I do love and honor my mother, no matter what I went through with them or what I felt I went through with them. I had to hear their story, because sometimes their story is probably a little bit worse than my story, or even way worse than my story. And what made them get through to where they had to go. That's a powerful thing to look at. It's very powerful to look at. And I'm happy that I still have my mother and father alive today. I called my father yesterday to check on him, make sure he all right. He in Florida. My mother, I'm here, of course, at her house, and we talk sporadically about certain things. And, but sometimes people of that era will rather hold on to a lot of that pain and don't want to release it. And I'm cool with that, because that's her walk. That's his walk. That's her work, and that's his walk. So it's so important to pay close attention that you don't throw them off balance, because if they didn't go through what they went through and was able to maintain themselves, some of them would have taken themselves off of this planet long before. My father almost did. He almost took himself off the planet with drugs and all that kind of stuff. But my mother, she was a soldier. She's that Taurus, the bull. They soldiers. They soldiers when it comes to certain things. So it's a beautiful way to learn why it's so important to study history, because history helps us to see through all the mystery. So big up to my family, big up to my parents. So let's go to the lesson, fam. Let's go to the lessons. Let's go to the lesson. I'm not going to stay up here too long. It is now 25 minutes in. Remember, all of my lessons are in the membership. So please take the time out to join the membership. If you get a chance, join the membership, because this is going directly into the membership. Today's lesson is the numerational and spiritual meaning of familiarity and unfamiliarity breeds contempt. And I put that old picture up there because that picture of me back in 1989, 1990 was the catalyst between what I was going through, because 1989, I just gave birth. My first wife just gave birth to my first son. So I was going through a whole lot because I was leaving a community, making certain moves, because I could not stay in that community because of whatever means. And, I had to really save my own life, so to speak. And whether my children understand or they don't understand is all right, as long as I understand. I understand what I had to do, no matter what nobody else says. So all my stuff is going to be in the membership. Big up to that, big up to that, big up to all of that that's happening in the membership. So let's go to the lesson. If you don't mind, we're going to go to the lesson. Big up to everybody. Salam alaikum, shalom alaikum, all of that good stuff. Big up to everybody that's tuning in on Instagram and also on YouTube. Get some water here. Here we go. King Simon's note. Y'all see it? Familiarity breeds contempt is an old proverb that carries a lot of depth, especially when viewed through a spiritual lens. It suggests that when you become too familiar or overly accustomed to something or someone, you might start taking it for granted. And it can lose its perceived value or significance for you. Look what it says. Pay close attention to what it is saying. Listen to what it is saying. Listen to what it is saying. Listen to what it's saying. Very important that you listen to what it's saying. Boom. Again, here it goes. Familiarity breeds contempt is an old proverb that carries a lot of depth, especially when viewed through a spiritual lens. It suggests that when you become too familiar or overly accustomed to something or someone, you might start taking it for granted, and it can lose its perceived value or significance for you. So you got to be very mindful of who you become familiar with and making sure that you don't lose respect of it. Now, spiritually, this can be a gentle reminder to stay mindful and appreciative of the people, relationships, and things in your life. Be mindful. Be reminded. Appreciate people. Appreciate your mom. Appreciate your dad for even coming through in this realm. Appreciate your children. Appreciate them as much as you can. Now, you're not going to let nobody disrespect you. Again, the word contempt adds up to the number 7 and the number 4, one in the Pythagorean, one in the Chaldean. So it already has a connection to mental health. People holding on to things. That's why it breeds contempt. That's why you're breathing something. It's a breathing ground. And when you're breathing something, you are fostering it and helping it to give it more life. When in actuality, you can do the positive of breathing. Instead of breathing contempt, breathe spiritual love, breathe mindfulness, breathe respect and appreciation instead of breathing contempt. Since, like I said, the word contempt, if you look on the dictionary meaning, means disregard for something that should be taken into account. Or the first meaning, the feeling that the person or the thing is beneath consideration, worthless, and deserving of scorn. No productive or positive human being is deserving of scorn. Now, if you are breathing contempt because of how you're not doing what you're supposed to do, or you're not being successful, then that's you mentally holding on to something, when in actuality, all of us was given the same tools. All of us, those that are healthy in mind, body, and soul, all of us was given the same tools. Every one of us. Even if you have no father or you have no mother, we was all given the same tool. But you will carry some of the energy from your mother and your father. So sometimes you might act like your mother, you might act like your father. Even if your father's not around, you still might act like. Even if your mother's not around, you still act like them. So going back to the lesson, spiritually, this can be a gentle reminder to stay mindful and appreciative of the people, relationship, and things in your life. It prompts you to cultivate gratitude and awareness so that you don't overlook the beauty or importance of what's ever present in your everyday life. That's a powerful statement. Can I get an amen or an a woman in the chat if that's a powerful statement? It prompts you to cultivate gratitude and awareness so that you don't overlook the beauty or importance of what's ever present in your everyday life. You know, my father, although he was in and out of my life, the beauty of my father is his resilience and his willingness to get over the drug addiction. That's one of the most beautiful things that he was. And yes, he got help from his wife, his third wife. He didn't get help from his second wife. He didn't get help from his first wife, which is my mother. He got help from his third wife, who was a Christian woman. And I got to thank her for keeping my father, because he could have killed himself. Believe me, he had a heart attack years ago around his 42nd birthday. He had a quadruple bypass surgery. And I remember going to visit him at the hospital, at Downstate Hospital here in Brooklyn, to make sure he all right. Because I as soon as I heard it, man, a matter of fact, when it happened to him, I remember taking a class with Pan Am, the airline, because I was going to become not an airline ticket person. I wanted to learn. And I was going through so much. And when I took the class, I went to turn off the fan that was near me or tilt the fan somewhere else, and I cut my finger. Matter of fact, I still got the mark on my middle finger when I stuck my finger through the blade. So I was going through too much, because if I lost my father, I wouldn't be able to get to talk to him and get the energy that I needed. And sure enough, he's still alive, and I've been getting the energy ever since, so I can know and be familiar with why he was such a good promoter and I turned out to be a good promoter, why he was such a person that loved to laugh and I turned out to be a person that loved to laugh. So with this familiarity or unfamiliarity, which can breed contempt, my job now had to be, over the last 10 to 15 years, damn near 20 years, is to cultivate gratitude that my mother and father are still here, and awareness, so that I don't overlook the beauty and the importance of who they were and what they were and what was their history. Because every time an elder or a person dies of that age, there's a library that's gone. There's a library of information that's gone. And I pray that my children get my library. That's why I'm writing, because these people, some of them are not into reading, or they're more into the online stuff. But that's why I do my shows. That's why I do my writing. That's why I'm doing, and guess what, family? I just completed the audio book. I just completed the audio book with my son at my son's studio. So that's going to be edited and put out soon. So please be patient. The book will be out. It will more than likely be sold on Amazon. It's going to be a very interesting numerovation. The numerational book is going to be sold. It's going to be sold very soon. We're trying to get it out by at least December 1st or by Thanksgiving, if those people people that celebrate it. Okay, and let's go on to say this saying encourages reverence and respect, reminding us not to lose sight of the sacredness in what might seem ordinary just because it's always around. Who is it or what is it that you see every day that you might think is ordinary, but really, you have to remind yourself how sacred it is. What is it that most of us take for granted, even with our body? We take for granted breathing, that we could even breathe air. Most of us take that for granted. And breathing is a sacred thing. And a lot of people don't realize how breathing can be a sacred thing. But many of us, I myself, has taken it for granted. Just drinking fresh water, we have taken for granted. So that's saying, in regards to familiarity, and we got to realize the positiveness of being familiar with something, or at least the willingness to learn about why it's unfamiliar and how can I learn from it. So this saying encourage reverence and respect, reminding us not to lose sight of the sacredness in what might seem ordinary just because it's always around. And that deals with familiarity breeds contempt. That's what it's talking about, like you see up here at the top. Now, by flipping it to unfamiliarity breeds contempt, gives it a whole new spiritual twist. When we think spirituality, unfamiliarity bringing contempt could symbolize the fear or mistrust people might feel towards things they don't understand or haven't experienced. That part right there, that part. People have fear of things that they don't understand. That's why people fear death. We don't understand death. We don't really know what it is. And most of us, if all of us, don't know where we're going to go. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what this energy does after we leave. So when we think spiritually, unfamiliarity bringing contempt could symbolize the fear or mistrust people might feel towards things they don't understand or haven't experienced. Or what does Stevie Wonder call it? They call it superstition after that. Superstition, boom, 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 writings on the wall. If you believe in things you don't understand, superstition is the way. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, it's superstition. You got to be willing to find out about it, know it. In spiritual practices, stepping into the unknown or the unfamiliar is a common pathway to growth and enlightenment. So take this into consideration. This is a powerful part. Take this into consideration. That you learn through the unknown. That when you was transferred from one school to another school, you may have been familiar with the children in that school, but now that you're in a new school, you're now on unfamiliar ground. And when, again, like it says, in spiritual practices, stepping into the unknown or the unfamiliar is a common pathway to growth and enlightenment. So when you step from one school to another, and you might be familiar with familiar with one school and unfamiliar with the next school, then it's up to you. If you really want to truly allow yourself to grow, you have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to step out in faith. Like Les Brown would say, leap and grow your wings on the way down. Because that's the only way you're going to grow. That's the only way you're going to find enlightenment. It's about moving beyond initial judgment and fear, seeing unfamiliarity as an opportunity to learn and grow. Give that a round of applause. With my applause, but let me give that a round of applause because that's real serious. We need to applaud that. Hold on, let me applaud that. Pardon me. Let me applaud that. It's about moving beyond initial judgment and fear, seeing unfamiliarity as an opportunity to learn and grow. Let's give that a round of applause. It's real talk, real talk. You know? So it's very important, very important. So in spiritual terms, the phrase might remind us to remain open and curious about the unfamiliar, seeking understanding and compassion towards it. So whatever is unfamiliar to you, the more you learn about it, the more curious you become about it. It's just like seeing a rose for the first time. As a child, you like looking at it like, whoa, what is this? You don't know the name of it. You just see the colors. You just see the little prickly parts. You just see bees hovering around it. But you got to get to be familiar with it because you're unfamiliar with the thing. Because if you just grab a rose, and you grab it the wrong way because it has those stickly, prickly parts on it, boom, it can cut you. So you got to look at it, really observe it before, because the rose itself have something that's going to protect it. And as soon as you grab it, you might hate the rose just because you grabbed it the wrong way and you did not analyze what it was and what it had on its stem that can cut you, because they are also trying to protect themselves also. That's why they have the stem, those little prickly, I forgot what they call, on the stems, certain roses. And people cut those things off so we can admire their beauty. So in spiritual terms, this phrase might remind us to remain open and curious about about the unfamiliar, seeking understanding and compassion towards it. When we approach new experiences or different people with curiosity rather than skepticism, we often find beauty and wisdom. And that is the truth. It's just that when it comes to human existence, we are lacking so much trust and dislike for each other. It becomes a serious problem. We are lacking so much trust, and it happens amongst our family, your children, their children, your parents, your grandparents, your aunt, your uncle, your sisters, your brothers, friends, family, job. It gets, and sometimes, because of the way people was raised, if you're not thinking like a child will analyze certain things until it becomes familiar with it. But yet, if it's something inanimate, like a toy, it will go and make that toy move because they love what they see in that toy, whatever it is, whatever kind of toy or doll that they may be playing with. So they get to learn it without skepticism, and then they find the beauty and the wisdom of using that toy or using that crayon or using that paper once they're shown and given this new experiences. So we got to pay very close attention to how we deal with people, places, and things when it's unfamiliar and when it's familiar. We got to bring the balance. And all of us are working on ourselves. I'm working on myself. My children are working on themselves. My family's working on themselves. Some are not working on themselves. Some people might be around you that's not. You might see people on the street that's not working on themselves. They're just doing and just living and just existing. Last but not least, let's get into the discussion, the questions. Now, anybody can call in. I have my phone line open. Let me make sure my phone line is open. If people want to call in, you can call in. And I haven't done this in a while. of course, because I've been away, but I'm going to try something. I got my phone right here, although I don't have the official hookup. But if people want to call in to answer any of their questions that I'm going to put up there, here are the questions. Here's the phone line, of course. If you want to answer any of the questions by calling in, how can excessive familiarity lead to feelings of contempt in relationships? And what boundaries can be set to prevent this? Number 2, can unfamiliarity truly breed contempt, or does it often stem from fear or misunderstanding? You can share your personal experience if you want. Number 3, in what ways does social media amplify familiarity and unfamiliarity, influencing our perception and attitudes towards others? And number 4, how do cultural and societal norms contribute to contempt arising from familiarity and unfamiliarity? And how can we challenge these norms? And number 5, what strategies can individuals use to balance familiarity and unfamiliarity in their relationship, fostering empathy and understanding? The phone lines are wide open if you want to do it. Let me take away this thing here, this banner. Let me take that banner. The number is 718-210-8853 if you want to call in. That's 718-210-8853. You can call in right now, 718-210-8853. If you want to call in and answer any one of the topic questions, that's totally up to you. If not, I'm cool. I keep it moving. I'm good. But these are the discussion questions that I'm giving before I finish. We are now at 46 minutes in. I'll take 1 or 2 or 3 callers before I get off the line. Like I said, I'm not in a familiar space. I am in a familiar space, but it's not the regular space that I'm in with my blackboard and everything else. So if you want to call in, you're more than welcome to answer any one of those questions on here. 718-210-8853. That's 718-210-8853. That's 718-210-8853. And I will come to you and talk to you. Once again, I want to say happy birthday to my second wife, my second former wife. Big up to her. Today is her birthday. Happy birthday, Valda. I understand my boys are taking her out in Georgia somewhere. Not tonight, but sometime this weekend. Happy birthday to Nia Long, the beautiful Nia Long. Y'all know, the great actress, the beautiful one herself. Big up to her. Happy birthday to Ra Aku. Happy birthday to my brother Ra Aku. Of course, today is his birthday. And happy birthday to Abundance Child's daughter, Anana Tawa. Happy birthday to her. Also, people celebrating their birthday. We're about to enter this November energy too. So big up to the November energy about to come in. Big things coming in. Big things coming in. All right. So if you want to answer the question in the chat, that's good. If you want to answer the question in the chat, it's all good. Big up to everybody on Instagram. Also, big up to the Instagram crew that's tuning in. I understand if you can't call it. This is late afternoon for me. After I get, today is Raku's birthday, man. I did text him. I don't know if he got the text. He might be doing sessions, knowing him. Knowing him, he might be doing sessions, knowing Raku. So he'll answer me later. So big up to Raku. If not, again, if nobody wants to come in and say anything, cool, no problem. The number is always wide open. There it is, 718-210-8853. Again, family, my son and I have been working on the audio book. Give me a month or two, because we're going to do a special edit on it, and he has to do a special edit on it at his studio. And if you do want your audio book done, family, he's doing great work right here in Brooklyn, New York. If you do want your audio book done, here is his studio. His studio is called Green Studio NYC. That's Green Studio NYC. Even if you're fresh and green and you need inspiration, come on out to his studio. Go to greenstudionyc.com. That's greenstudionyc.com. 929-456-36 3009. That's 929-456-3009. Big up to Lloyd Strayhorn, one of my sponsors, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. That's Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. You know, and big up to Nicholas Brooklyn celebrating 50 years in business, nicholasbrooklyn.com. That's nicholasbrooklyn.com. Big up to Kerry Ann Ingram.com. That's KerryAnnIngram.com. Make sure you support Reduce Depression, Stress, Anxiety, Grief, and Anger to free yourself from your pain prison with the private healing session today. Make sure you check her out, scan the QR code, or hit her up on her website. If you do want to book a session with me, this is the number. You got to text me your full name, date of birth, and email, because I have to send you the details. I'll have to give you choices because I have 4 different sessions. 4 different sessions right now. 4 different sessions. And I'm serious about the sessions. All of them are very serious to me. I don't really like to do those quickies on the street or events, but these are very serious times, and people got to have a serious mind to want to do any session with me, whether it's the pre-recorded 15 or 10-minute session, or it's the conversational 30-minute or 60-minute session. Make sure you text me your full name, date of birth, and your email, and I will send you the information via email. Get all my books on Amazon right now. Get all my books on Amazon right now. Get my books on Amazon, or go to my Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. That's Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. Make sure you scan this QR code to join my SoundCloud. All the different lectures and different things are on my SoundCloud also. And also you can join the membership. Join the YouTube membership by just pressing pressing that button that says join. And it's only $9.99 per month. And you could learn and study all of these stuff that you see on the flyer here or this banner. Those are all the things I've taught on so far. I've taught on a lot more than that, but of course, teenagers and young adults, I've taught on that. I've taught on grief and grieving. I've taught on the goodness of the Creator's force in you, tunnel vision. I've taught on mind your business. I've taught on throw it away. I've taught on the mathematics of doctors and nurses. I've taught on always keep your demons on a leash. I've taught on resolve. I've taught on so many different things just in the membership. Just the membership alone, there's a lot. I got 1,000 videos up. And you know, I have 1,000 videos. So if you want information on numerology and numerovation and the words and sayings, that is in my membership right now. That's in my membership right now. And remember, if you're into martial arts, my family members are doing the martial arts thing on November 3rd in Brooklyn, New York at the World Martial Arts Center. Scan the QR code, or you can call the number 917-755-6238. 917-755-6238. And if you're in Tampa, Florida, one of my moderators and one of my accountability partners is having or speaking at an event at the Ma'at Sankofa African Learning Temple in Tampa, Florida, about the 7 principles of Ma'at. And you could RSVP through the admin. They ask for a donation, but it is a donation. admin@ma'atsankofa.com, or donate at $@Ma'at or you can call or text that number 813-690-8606 if you want to learn more about the 7 principles. And also Millicent Simmons will be doing Color Curiosity over there. She's going to be dropping some numbers, dropping some stuff about color curiosity, color therapy, feng shuiing your life through wardrobe and what you wear in your house. Big up to one of my moderators and also my other moderator, Dr. Shakira Moore. Make sure you do an iridology nutritional session with her. Make sure you support her. The number, the Linktree, the IG is both on both of their flyers. Make sure you support them at all costs. And here's my other son. He has a nice pressure wash, car detailing, and dumpster wash in the metro Atlanta area and surrounding areas. Make sure you call that number or text that number on the bottom there if you want that done. If you ain't doing it yourself, have somebody like him do it. Very respectful, and he loves what he does, and he does so many other things. So big up to him. So family, I want to thank each and every one of you, since none of y'all was able to call in and jump on and be a part of this journey. Beautiful. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Remember what Dr. B says. I forgive myself, my family, and others for imperfection, and I'm thankful for my life. And remember what Dr. Blair used to say. Please, Universal Creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth in your love now. Thank you, Dr. Blair. Thank you, Dr. B, for all that you have to offer to those master teachers. Make sure y'all continue to support the channel. Don't forget, you can always spread love via Cash App not Cash App, only PayPal. You can spread love via PayPal at paypal.me/King Simon. You could also donate to the channel with Zelle at tabproductions3158@gmail. And you could also donate through Venmo at venmo.com/u/King Simon1. And remember, when you do that, remember what Dr. B says, currency will return 1,000 folds. Anytime you circulate money or spend, I've been doing that lately, and it has been coming back, and it comes back 1,000 fold. And it might not come back right away the same. It might come back within 30 days. It might come back within 10 days. It might come back within 6 months. But currency will return 1,000 folds. That is something that you got to. And there's a situation where I was doing a meditation on somebody moving, and sure enough, for the last week, I've been doing a meditation because I don't want to confront anybody. I don't want to get into any argument. So I just kept on saying, you got to move out. You got to move out. It's time to move. It's time to move. Even when I pass by their area, it's time to move. It's time to move. When I pass by their window, it's time to move. It's time to move. I'm just saying it as I'm passing by their place. And sure enough, this person said to another mutual family member of mine, said, I'm moving tomorrow. I'm like, wow, that's how powerful these word sound vibrations are. That's why I teach about word sound vibration, not just your name and not just your birthday. It's significant. It's a part of it, but what you say on a daily basis is also very significant. Very significant, what you say. So this person had to go, and I'm glad that it's going without any arguments, and I don't have to come over. I don't have to come over and lay hands on people and all that. I'm not doing all that. I got a lot to lose to do that. I don't got no time for that. And when you have a lot to lose, I heard Dame Dash say that. When you know you got a lot to lose, you don't have time to get into confrontations and drama. I ain't got no time for that. When you know you got a lot to lose. And that's what people that don't have a lot to lose, they have time to do that. But when you do have a lot to lose, your business, your freedom and all that kind of stuff, boom. I'm not doing all of that. I'm not doing that. In my reckless day, I probably would have done it. But not no more. I don't do that. So be careful of the words that you say to yourself. Be careful of the words that you say. Rewind the video. Rewind the video if you want my son. Just rewind it. Go back if you want to find out my son's information. It's on the video. Just rewind it and you'll get it. All right. Have a great day, afternoon, or evening. Be safe. Be great. Do what you got to do. Peace and love. Stay strong. Take care. One love. Numerovation with King Simon. Text me now at 347-496-1022. You can also take my course if you want to, but do text me for your sessions at 347-496-1022. You can also get my books on Amazon at Linktr.ee/King Simon the Numerovator. Remember, you can book your session and get it done right now. 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. King Simon the Numerovator. rich and powerful. When in actuality, the so-called 85% has a spark in them that if it is sparked through numerology, astrology, motivation, whatever, it will raise them up from an 85%, maybe to a 10%, and eventually they become the 5%, the poor or prosperous righteous teachers. We gotta understand that this knowledge is not just for one class of people. We gotta get out of the class.